This is your assignment for the ending of chapter 9, the ending of our novel. If you are not up to this point, please go back, finish the assignment for chapter 8, the Padlet, the assignment for chapter 7, the Ed puzzle, and any other Ed puzzle you may have not done up to this point, where you're watching the movie and making connections and doing everything that we have done up to this point. So, this is my favorite chapter in the novel by far. This last passage here, this is chapter 9, part 3. This is Nick reflecting on everything after George Wilson and Gatsby's death. So this is Nick reflecting on everything that's transpired and how much distaste he has for Tom. In this chapter, he mentions how he meets Tom again, and Tom talks about how sad he was when he went back to the apartment he had for Myrtle, and he saw the dog biscuits, and Nick just looks at him with disgust and just leaves, and it just wraps up here. And here he's back at his home. He's looking at the Gatsby's mansion, once filled with beautiful parties, beautiful people being abandoned. And this passage here, when I read this book when I was your age, it really just kind of skipped past me. I didn't think anything of it, and I really didn't go back to it and really have much thought for it. But it wasn't until last year when I was reading it with my class at Pacifica that this passage really spoke to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to analyze this passage here. This is the ending of the book. We're going to analyze it, and then you're going to have a question at the end that I'll put this video in Ed Puzzle, and you'll answer the question. You'll answer the question for your using your interpretation and your analysis. So, what I want to do is I just want to read this passage real quick. This is Nick speaking, of course. Nick is our narrator. And as I sat there brooding on the old, unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch our arms farther, and one fine morning. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. So a lot of things to unpack here. Again, the notion of color. We got green, we got blue, green light, the blue lawn, but then the green comes up again. Refer back to the end of chapter 1, that green light in the docks we talked about while we were in class. What was he looking at? What did the green light represent at the end of the dock? Then we read a little bit more. We realized that, at the end of the dock, it's Daisy. So he's reaching for his future Daisy. And a lot of you guys wrote some interesting responses in chapter 1, not knowing the connection between Daisy and Gatsby, saying that Gatsby wanted money, he wanted fortune, he wanted success, he wanted that green light. Whatever's green means go, right? Green means fertility. So that comes back here, and this is Fitzgerald using some grammar magic to really connect everything together. So we're going to go back to the second paragraph here. Gatsby believes in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms farther, ... and one fine morning. And it kind of has some dashes here. And it ends. And so what Fitzgerald's doing here is he's creating an illusion. He's making the reader think about what the green light represents to not only Gatsby, but what the green light might represent to us, to what the green light might represent to people in the future. So what Fitzgerald's saying here is the green light is that idea that the goal is you can see the goal, it's obtainable, but you just can't reach it. But we don't care. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we're still going to run, we're still going to stretch our arms out farther, and then one fine morning, Fitzgerald leaves us with some hope that one fine morning our goal, our dream will be there. And that's what Gatsby believed in. Gatsby believed in that dream, that goal. As you guys found out in your individual reading of chapter 5, chapter 6, leading up to that big conflict in chapter 7 where Gatsby tells Daisy to tell Tom she doesn't love him anymore. Gatsby's so delusioned with this idea in the past of how much he loved for his love for Daisy that he had to be rich. He had to be someone of notoriety, or he couldn't get that goal of being with Daisy. Once he had that goal, once he reached that future, he reached his future. He realized that his ultimate goal was Daisy, but he still could not obtain it because she was with Tom. So what Fitzgerald's doing here is he's saying Gatsby believed in that green light. The future that year by year recedes as that means that it pushes further and further away. And how us as a society, us as individuals, we understand that sometimes it eludes us. It goes further and further, but we don't care. We're still going to run faster. We're still going to stretch our arms farther in the hopes that one day that goal, that dream, will be there. It has a lot to do with the aspect of dreams. Dreams versus reality. You know, you're working at a minimum wage job, or you're in school right now. You're juniors becoming seniors. You have a goal of graduating high school. You're going to reach for that goal. After you're done with that goal, graduating high school, you're going to reach for the goal of graduating college. After college, you might have another additional goal. And it's the idea of all these goals eluding us, might be, and also these goals obstructed by obstacles. Gatsby's obstacle was he was a poor man. He had to create a new identity. He had to become rich. He had to become a person of notoriety and fortune in order to be in the same circle to even meet Daisy. He had all these obstacles blocking his way of that goal. So we're gonna have obstacles on our way to goals, and you can relate to this personally. That's what I did last year. I was like, whoa, makes a lot of sense. It didn't matter all the obstacles that were in front of me going into my career as a teacher. Obstacles of not, as I told you guys, my struggles with math. Right, I had the struggles with the math class. It didn't matter. I still wanted something better for myself. So I still reached out further. I still ran as hard as I could to get that goal, even though year by year it goes further and further. I didn't care. I still wanted to get to that goal. And once I got to that goal, I had another green light. So Fitzgerald ends this saying, "So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past." So we, as you guys know with informal language, we always want to, as writers, we always want to clarify who we are, right? But here Fitzgerald's letting you guys know, letting the readers know. So we beat on is a kind of it's just connecting back to that second paragraph saying we is obviously people is you. So he's saying everybody's going to beat on, boats against the current, going against the current, fighting against obstacles that are preventing us to get to that green light, borne back ceaselessly into the past. So fighting against the past, fighting against the obstacles. Go back to chapter 5. Remember the clock. What did the clock symbolize? It symbolized the time that Gatsby could not stop. Gatsby could not go back in time and be the same person he was when he was with Daisy. That's what he was trying to do this whole time. He was trying to recreate the past. And obviously the obstacles were in the way because he was still living in the past, not the future. So I really love this passage. It's my favorite passage of any book, and as a teacher, it's one where if we were in class, obviously, we would do a lot more connecting this to other details in the book, connecting it to the colors. We're not going to do our final assessment with this where you would connect the colors and symbolism to the American dream. But this right here is the most important thing you can learn of this whole book is Fitzgerald letting us know that he gave us a story of this man who loved this woman and he had to create a new persona to be with her in his mind, and then this is Fitzgerald telling the reader that this is what Gatsby believed in. He believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us, so it goes further and further away from us, but we as individuals do not care. We do not care. We're still going to go for it because we believe in that dream. We believe in hard work. In a lot of ways, this is Fitzgerald telling the reader that that's what the American dream is. The American dream is that green light. That dream that eludes us, but we don't care and we go after it. So at the end of this video, there's going to be a little Ed puzzle. Please complete that. That's your assignment for the week, the little question at the end of this Ed puzzle. I'm going to put this video on Ed puzzle. And I will be putting out a video regarding the grading policy. Please make sure you watch that. That'll be very important. But again, go back if you need to watch this. Hopefully it wraps it up well. What I just explained to you made sense. But reread this passage here, and maybe you don't understand it yet, and that's fine. But for me, as a young adult, it just took me. And maybe it'll take you your second time if you read it a second time, the whole book in one time. If you read it again for the second time, sorry, you'll understand it more when you're down the road in life. But this passage here really connects the whole book, really connects everything to the American dream, and really connects who Gatsby was and how he relates to us as readers. So we'll talk to you soon.